Meeting of the Sherman County Commissioners, come to order, please. First on the agenda is open session for 15 minutes. If anyone has any comments? No, continue signing checks.
Was he just the bottom or what?
Yes.
So I've had a couple of questions out there just for my information. About our building insurance. Are we insured for replacement cost? You guys knowledge?
What is it? What was it insured for? Does it say?
No, that's what I'm asking. I didn't know if it was, if all of our buildings were insured for replacement cost.
I'd have a hard time believing this one is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
But if we were not, or wouldn't be.
No.
We got
this exactly this way again.
About the 3 times we're insured for.
I don't know. That one sheet did say what it was insured for. But it looked. You sent one of those out once.
Okay. And it was good news with the K camp, with the hospital, so it's good.
Yep. Did you guys get a chance to read the minutes?
I did. Thanks.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 10th and June 12th.
Second?
Been moved and seconded, we approve the minutes of both June 10th and June 12th. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed, it's approved. Did you look up the bills?
Well, I had a question. I seen there was some more, I think it said reimbursements for AEDs. Does that mean that they bought them through the county?
So those two
And
were
they-
ordered through EMS.
Okay.
And then we received the payment back.
Okay.
So it's for the Goodland Housing Authority and for the Goodland Youth Football.
So how many AEDs total has the county actually been the middleman on and purchased?
Through EMS, 3.
Total, through anybody?
There have been other AEDs that have been purchased. I don't know what's happened to them.
Did we get reimbursements on all of them? Okay, that would be my question as to why. Why wouldn't, if a few have to reimburse, why wouldn't everybody?
You're gonna have to ask the sheriff.
Am I wrong?
Well, it's my understanding, Rod, that some of them were purchased through a grant to the sheriff's department,
They're paid through their regular budget.
but then reimbursed with that grant.
No reimbursement that we've seen yet.
I have not received any grant dollars for those.
I don't have a problem working with people. Say, yeah, you can order it through the county for our cost, fine. Cut us a check, reimburse us for our cost.
And so when Chris with EMS asked me about it, I asked Brett, and he said, yep, it's all tax exempt organizations, so
Yeah.
we're not losing out on anything. And that was for churches, and now it went to one church, that round, and then EMS did the youth football and housing authority. My understanding is the sheriff purchased some and they went elsewhere.
But they weren't invoiced.
I did not send an invoice for those yet. And they were paid through their regular budget.
Well, that's taxpayer dollars.
My opinion is, I don't care what the circumstances were. I guess my opinion is to invoice them. And if they don't wanna pay for them, then they have to return them.
I don't know where to send the invoices. I don't know where they went.
I guess we better find out.
Rod, I was aware of one, and Sheriff Minolta and I had that discussion that, it needed to either be returned or it needed paid for.
Okay, so,
I'm not aware of any others, I was aware of one, and he and I have had that discussion. Where that's at on that, I don't know, but that discussion was had, that needed returned or paid for.
so unless they're invoiced, they're not gonna pay for them. They obviously will just sit on it. So we need to find out where to invoice them and get them invoiced. Right?
Yes.
Good. It's like everything we do, you set precedents. I mean, that's just the way it is. What's good for one's good for all, so.
Well, there's another way of looking at that too, Ron. That regardless of where that money came from to pay for them, our people of Sherman County benefit from wherever they're at. If they're in a church, our tax people, they benefit from getting the use of that.
The people, well, just isolated a few. It's not like it's downtown,
I know, but I mean, if they're in a church, or if they're in out at the fairground.
But we have the responsibility of controlling what we can of taxpayer dollars. And if we start buying AEDs for every church, then every church should put in and want their free AED because not have to pay for it. Well then, okay, if we have one, now we have 17 churches in town and all of them want an AED. Is the county gonna pay for every one of them?
That's what I mean about setting precedents.
Yeah, so it needs to be either have control of the AED or have it paid for, because that's not right. Next thing you'll know, it'll be a vehicle or something. Well, they only use it on days that end in Y. So. So. I noticed on the payroll that, are we on the second round of distributions, or is that the third round of distributions for? Third round of distribution, so it makes it into a pretty hefty check again.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make the motion to pay the bills.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Been moved and second to pay the bills in the amount of $475,494.32. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. I'll get out of this. Do you want to look at the handbook now or later?
Let's do that later.
Okay. We can go ahead and talk about, Board of Commissioners forms for the hospital board. I have two forms here. One from Vicki Baker, who has been on the hospital board, and an application from Terry Nash, who would be a new board member. I talked to Dwayne Tim. He said he is not interested in doing another 3-year term, so we do have two people that are interested in serving on the Goodland Hospital Board.
Make a motion to reappoint Vicki Baker to the hospital board and appoint Terry Nash as a new member.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded that we reappoint Vicki Baker and appoint Terry Nash to the hospital board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. No approval sheet on that. I already read those. I only need one.
Oh, So have we actually been sent anything from the fire board for approval?
It's just a heads up on that, get rid of the deal.
Okay.
They also haven't been formally awarded that, so that's just a heads up of if they are awarded, that's the match that they have to come up.
Okay.
No need, no approval. I think they could probably have somebody mow that training site a little easier than what they could, buy a mower for.
Yeah.
But, if that's the only one. a bill here from BYBE, for cable, fiber, and some parts.
It's a renewal contract for dispatch. They just need to renew their contract for their internet, and they also have one cable connection in dispatch.
Okay. No.
Brett did look at it, it's 1 year, no issues.
All right. So we need a motion.
This is Vive.
Yes, but I don't see here what the cost of the renewal is for the contract. This is just for the cable. For the-
No, so up on the right-hand side, I think it's 150 for
Well, it has
internet, and I wanna say the total is 250.09 maybe.
204.95.
Okay, that's each month for 12 months.
Okay. I was thinking that you were buying some cable
No,
that wasn't very much if you bought it for $150. So I entertain a motion to renew the contract with
Also move.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. Do I need to sign this, Eric, or do you sign this?
your choice, if you want me to sign it, just say,
Sign
you
it.
approve me to sign it.
Well, then I'll entertain the motion to approve Eric to sign this contract.
So moved.
I know he's kind of a shady guy.
I know, but sometimes we
Second.
have to do. Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
Hey, back to this, back to the fire board minutes on the mower. Didn't we just approve a mower and we're getting rid of a mower?
Landfill.
Is that deal done?
I don't think they've gotten rid of it yet.
Why can't we just move that mower over here, let them to use on that site?
Because I don't think the trade-in value is much.
No,
Yeah.
they're gonna sell it on Gapple Road.
Oh, just move it over here.
Okay.
If it's still operable, just patch it up and get it going.
Our first appointment's not here.
It was gonna be a phone call, so
Okay.
she'll transfer him in when,
So hit the green button when
yes, when he calls. If he calls.
Do we need to have approval to buy trees for Smoky?
Smoky, yep.
I talked to Amanda Schilling at Blooms and Buds, and she has 6 cottonless cottonwoods that she'd sell us for
$250? Was it? No.
$295 for the first one, half price for the second one, but I couldn't get her to do that for the other 4, so I think that the total was gonna be around $1,500. And the Girl Scout troop, which our treasurer is the leader, said they would help plant the trees. So I've also talked with Mr. Emick. He has a big auger to dig the hole, so you won't have to come with a shovel and dig out.
Well, I like trees, but, I mean, I know there's a lot of other things that we need to do out there that we'd spend that money on, but I wouldn't be in favor of it, but
Where would they plant them at, Steve?
There's 8 or kind of a line of 8 right next to the RV parking. Those big trees are pretty well dead.
those are the ones that got smoked with the ground stirling. Now, before any trees get planted in there, you gotta do soil samples to make sure that all that chemical is dispersed and gone. Or else we'll wind up with $250 sticks,
But that
cause
might
there could be residual in there, yeah.
Might be good to have someone go pull samples before
Absolutely.
we do anything.
Well,
Yeah, and you'd wanna remove the old trees before you plant new ones.
Were you thinking about taking that money out of the grant that we have from there? Or before we spent that
No,
money?
that would be come from
Yeah, that'd be just,
Soldiers
Soldierville.
Memorial Park.
Okay.
Is there a way there to put like a drip system so that they can be?
Well, it would be installed because,
How that looks.
yeah, it doesn't have enough to, reach to the, but they're looking at doing a drip system on trees that are right to the north of the restrooms and that. And when they trench that in, trench the drip line in for these other trees.
Investment for, because trees are expensive.
Yeah.
No matter where you get them.
And if we trench the drip line in, it's more apt to stay put and not get mowed or abused. On our own personal, we have 120 foot of drip line that disappeared. We finally found it. A deer caught it or something and drug it off into a cornfield. So I don't know what his problem was that day, but
noticing planting trees in the hottest part of the year is not the best thing either. It should either be done spring or fall. But I mean, I know, it's about timing. But I'd be a little worried about that soil.
I will be in contact with Rod and have him go pull soil samples there to see what we got. And then if we plant them trees, you can come down and fish and put a dead fish in each. Isn't that how?
There you go, yeah.
Yeah. This correspondence is from Milco, that's our landfill. Items. Acceptable condition for 2024 sampling event. So that's on. Both of them are acceptable on the Melco. They're the closed landfill and then the one that's in operation now. Mr. Daniels?
I'm up, huh?
Yes, the first appointment didn't show up or didn't call in, so.
Very good. Well, I am here in behalf of Southeast and Eastern for Recycling, just to answer questions for you and just kind of give you a heads up what's going on with that organization.
Okay,
I'm your representative from Sherman County. I think I've been doing that for 20 years maybe. Anyhow, to give you a heads up, Colorado, unlike Kansas, is quite a bit different. They've implemented a $15 minimum wage in Colorado, and salaried employees, I think, are 54,000 minimum. So that's put a bind on the recycle committee, the recycle organization. Wasn't in the budget. Labor costs gone way up in that regard. So just as a heads up, you're gonna be getting an invoice as a request or just as something to help out that organization. They're asking everybody in Colorado and Kansas, all the different entities. There's about 16 counties. We're one of 2 now. Wallace County's wanting to come on board with the recycle committee, and Johnson County or Hamilton County, but they're kind of talking about getting out. They never were really on board with it. It was kind of started as a high school project for recycling. But they're asking everybody in Colorado, because Colorado state government is mandating that each county has to have a recycle program. So a lot of those counties down southeast are gonna have to start trucking it somewhere or doing something. They don't really have an option. Sherman County has an option. But they were asking every entity to give $5,000 to $10,000 to help them get through this budget shortfall. It's not something they're requiring, it's just something you guys can consider, and if you don't wanna do it, it's totally up to you guys. In Colorado, they're not really gonna have a choice. They're gonna either have to let the organization keep working, or if they don't and they fold, then those counties are gonna be in a predicament where they have to figure out something else for their recycle program. So we're kind of different in this whole organization in Kansas, because we're not all that mandated. Since that labor cost has gone up, right now, Sherman County, all the entities are paying 20 cents per person per month. So I think in Sherman County,
$7,032
a year,
a year.
$7,032 for the recycle. In Sherman County last quarter, I can kind of give you an idea, I don't know if I have that here, idea how much it saves going into the landfill here in Sherman County. It was 143 cubic yards in a quarter was kept out of the landfills. We collected, the recycle committee collected at the different locations here in Goodland. And Canarado has a place. So it's 143 cubic yards, which is a pretty good amount of space.
Now, we're talking about what
Plastics
what are we-
or
yeah,
what?
what all do you?
It's newspaper, glass, and tin cans.
Okay.
That's it. They don't do cardboard. You know, cardboard at one time, when I got involved with this organization, cardboard was 75% of the landfill. So, you know, at one time, the commission here looked at trying to recycle, and it just wasn't cost effective. It just didn't, it was cost effective. It just logistically was hard to do in order to get somebody to pick it up. When you bale cardboard, because we tried baling it out here at the transfer station, you can let it sit outside baled for a year. So, I mean, you can wait for the price of cardboard to go up and down, and it does. It fluctuates a lot. Lamar, La Junta, and a couple of closer cities, they actually truck their cardboard over to the recycle center in Los Animas is where the center's at. And so they, something that, you know, Sherman County would consider doing, I don't know, but it's not something we've ever done. It's just the cost to get it there.
It sounds to me like Colorado is the problem,
Yeah. Well,
right?
yeah, really.
Okay, so let's look at the state of Kansas. What's going on in the state of Kansas as far as recycling? Let's say we don't deal with Colorado.
Okay. Last I knew, which has been a couple years ago, there was an organization in Colby or that area that came to the county here and was asking. At that time, they were wanting like $6-7 a piece, where this was charging
20 cents.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why it was just, you guys decided, the commission decided to keep with Southeast and East Central. You know, they come pick it up, that whole bit.
Yep.
Right now, the city of Goodland was an interlocal agreement with the county, and the city was the county pays this per capita fee per year. And the city maintains the bins and the area where they're at. So, I mean, if the wind blows them over, then the city goes out and picks up all the stuff and sets them back up. And if the bins are get broke, then the city pays for that part of it. They're billed that. So that was kind of the interlocal agreement between the city and the county.
So there's 3 locations where those recycling,
Yes.
kind of over here by Hoover.
Yep.
And then by the city,
Mhm.
shop, and then out at Walmart.
Walmart.
Okay,
And then there's one in Canarado
okay.
that the county picks up. And I'm not sure, I'm guessing Canarado must pay for the bins there if they have an issue. I guess we've never been called on an issue over there with them, so.
Do you guys do anything in Cheyenne County?
No.
Okay, 'cause I was just wondering, I know they got their little recycling center right there in town.
Right, and so does Colby, you know, they have a recycle center, but it's basically kind of, to my understanding, kind of the same. I don't know if they do, I think they may do cardboard in Colby. I don't know. I'm not that up on Colby. But I do know Wallace County is just getting ready to start with Southeast and East Central. So.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's just a heads up. So, January of next year, the 2025, is when they're going to increase it from the 20 to the 30 cents per capita to make up for the.
For Colorado.
Yep. Well, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, Colorado's a mess. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So this, like I say, this is just a heads up. You know, if you guys want to continue with the program, that's your decision, you know, but I'm just here to kind of let you know what's going to happen on that end of it. So if you have any.
Recycling is a touchy deal. It's like if you want the biggest bang for your buck,
Mhm.
you about need to make it mandatory to where everybody has to recycle. I mean, there's people, you're gonna be paying 30 cents a head, and 90% of the people aren't gonna be doing it.
Well, you know what, and that's kind of like with the city, you know, as far as if you have an empty house, you still got to pay
So,
the trash pickup.
that's exactly
You
right.
still pay trash pickup regardless, whether you use it or not. You know, you can haul everything you want every day to the landfill, but the city's still going to charge you that money for the solid waste.
I don't like doing mandatory this, mandatory that. It's like, you know, if more people would just do it,
Yeah,
and me included.
and Goodland used to be, I mean, like on these amounts, collection amounts. Goodland used to be right up there, 1 or 2. They back and forth. Now we're like 4, 5 because people just aren't doing it as much. And you know, there's a lot less. I mean, social media is so much on the phone now that you have less newspaper stuff, and people don't take the Denver Post and all that stuff, and a lot of people don't do the local paper, and it's twice a week instead of every day. So I mean, our odds are down, and a big part of it is education. You know, people just don't want to do it, don't have to do it.
Right.
So, but it does save the county in the long run by keeping it out of the landfill, and you don't have to dig a hole as often.
Right.
And that was the big benefit to start with.
Now, there's no bins out at landfill?
No.
Okay. What, would that benefit, if there was bins there, would people
I
use them before they cross the scale?
Well, I think if they are not gonna put it here, they're not gonna drive out there to dump it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then if you had it mixed in with the rest of the
yeah,
trash, they'd have to have a whole sorting thing out there for
Yep.
taking out.
Yep.
So,
okay,
you know, then your costs are gonna go way up again for manpower.
right, okay. All right.
So, and if at any time you have any questions or anything, just give me a call.
Okay.
So,
Appreciate you doing it, Dave.
Yep. You're welcome. I don't have anything else. Just like I said, that was a heads up. So.
All right, just great news. That's about what we get.
Oh, they're starting to in Colorado implement the e-waste too, where they have to recycle their electronics and their computers, and they're shutting down landfills. I mean, they're just shutting them down in little towns. So, you know, they're scrambling. They're just scrambling. They don't know what to do and how they're going to do it cost wise.
It's a big issue. That
Yep.
you have to figure out what to do with all that.
And Colorado's worse. So,
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about plastic now because you can't get a plastic bag.
yeah, that's right. 10 cents a bag.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Dave.
Sure. Hope there wasn't anybody here from Colorado.
If they were, you stepped on them and we're good.
I'm in trouble
You
now.
just spoke the truth.
That's right, I agree.
This is the notice of that meeting on the first, Monday the 1st. I don't plan on going.
That's fine. It's just informational.
Okay.
So you guys know.
Okay. There they are, just in time. Don't sit down, come on up.
Oh, thank you. I got it all. Awesome.
Rod, yeah, you knocked that microphone on the ground.
What's that?
That's his microphone, so.
I know. Sure.
Fine. That was next time. Either while we're here or they can offer us you then. Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, probably should let Chris talk about this more than I am because this is his project. Well, him and Jamie Ross's. So Jamie Ross, he's one of our ship captains, and he's in charge of maintenance for our ambulances and equipment and so forth, so on. We're having issues with one of our prams or cots. The lift system or the pump system in it that helps lift the pram up and down has gone bad. The pump has, and it's an old style cot. Stryker isn't making anymore. So these new cots are what they're going to now. Stryker is. So they are going to give us, as you can see, a $4,000 trade-in. So that drops that down to $26,992.30. So right now we have one spare cot, and that's the one that's actually in Med 5. The one that's broken is the one that's now in storage, so we don't actually have a spare cot anymore. So anyways,
So your spare one's probably an old style one too.
all of them are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, they're all still within decent, reasonable shape. It's just, we've had them long enough, and Strikers up, just like anything, they start making new models, and And one of the perks of going with the newer one, this new one, it actually will lift 700 pounds. Our old ones only lift 400. And so we can about guarantee why the reason why we blew a motor up on one of them is because we've picked up a few. Mhm.
So we do have in our equipment line item, we do have $32,000 in that line item. So we do have the money to pay for it. It will basically kill that line item. But that's why I put in that amount or budgeted that amount. Because when I talked to Jamie, I said, what would be the most expensive piece of equipment that we would purchase minus an ambulance? And he advised it would be a pram. And the cost was around $32,000. So that's why I made that line item that amount. So, so obviously we have a $2,500 maximum that we can spend before coming to you guys. So we're just here to ask for your guys' permission to move forward and purchase this this cot. So
Is there any grant money that will allow you to buy that kind of stuff?
we could look into it and see if there's grant money out there. The only problem is we're kind of on a time crunch to get these things fixed. And grants, of course, take time and everything else out there. So, I mean, if we're going to start looking at updating our fleet as it is, we can start looking at getting grants and actually start updating them while they're still on the surface. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Instead of wait until they
Instead of wait until they break down.
Yep.
So, I mean, we can go to, the typical Dane Hansen and other grant entities out there and see if we can slowly update our fleet. But at this point, we're kind of between a rock and a hard place where we really need to get a new cot in place before another one breaks down. And then we're going to have an ambulance without a cot in it. And then that ambulance is going to be out of service all the way. So,
Make a motion to approve the bid from Stryker for $26,992.30.
One second.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the purchase of a new Stryker cot. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
cool. I don't know if it's kosher or not to talk about this right now, or if I need to come back. If I need to come back, yeah, right. Again, since it's not on the agenda, I don't know if this is kosher. So Dr. Days, since he is now the main liaison between us and the hospital, since the CEO is now on medical leave, Dr. Days did advise me at the last QA meeting with the service, which was Tuesday, just to move forward and do the $19 an hour rate that we pay our own staff. So if we have a nurse on the back of our ambulance, we would pay that nurse $19 an hour. And then the hospital would then pick up the rest of that, whatever's left of that person's salary.
For that call.
Yeah, so like a transfer. So like last night they had a transfer from Goodland to Hayes last night, and they had a nurse on the back because the patient possibly needed some pressors on a pump. So, but they didn't. But they needed to have a nurse that would.
Still had to.
Yeah. So, anyways, so since that has happened, I didn't know if you guys wanted to give me permission to sign this memorandum of understanding, or if you guys wanted to look it over, and then we can get it to Dr. Days. Brett's already looked it over. Actually, Brett was the one that redid this
Brett's
one.
looked it
That was
over.
the template that they, we had this conversation
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Right.
That was the template they originally sent over. I made revisions, sent it back, and then at first, I forget who it was, responded that they just couldn't do the $19 an hour. So that's the same form that I drafted, and Brian emailed me late last night, and I just printed off what I sent to them, so.
So Ron, will that take you over what you budgeted for salary?
No, right now, starting for paramedics is 19 an hour. So that would be in line with what we're starting our crews at already with paramedics. So, and I'm paying paramedics the same as nurses. So they're right there at that same starting rate.
Okay.
So obviously, if you guys approve my 25 budget, we would increase that starting salary to $22 an hour. So that's what the nurse, if we would have to have a nurse in the back of the ambulance, that's what they would start getting paid, would be 22 an hour. So, I guess the question is, do you guys want me to permission to sign this and give it to Dr. Days for he to sign, or do you, one of you guys want to sign it and then Dr. Days sign it, or do you guys want to kind of mill this over and then come back at the next commission meeting? I guess, how do you guys want to move forward?
You guys are working together, you
You're in
guys are okay with this?
I think it'd be good for you to sign it. Brett's already checked it over.
Okay.
So,
I'm fine with that.
okay, so we'll just have you sign.
Okay.
Do we need a motion for that, Miss Ashley?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to allow Brian to sign the agreement with, Dr. Davis. Second, hospital.
Been moved and seconded that we have, Chief sign the contract. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
Perfect. I'll get this to Dr. Days today and
Okay.
get it signed, and I'll get it to Brett with the signature and all that stuff. So,
On another, since you're here, that,
Yep.
you talked about looking at a mower for the, training site.
so we talked to Rod, and he agreed to have the road and bridge individual who does the mowing down at the Smoky. We would just contract that individual to come up and pay the training, or mow the training site. And he already did that. So we figured it'd be cheaper to just pay that person that Rod already has on staff. So Rod would just send the fire department a bill for that guy's hours, because it's only gonna need mowed every once in a while, especially since we're not getting rain. So we figured it'd be cheaper to do that. So that was the first option, was to look at a mower, and then the county, or then the fire board said, well, let's just see if Rod would allow his mower to mow it, and Rod was in
Well,
favor
the
of
thing
it.
is we have a mower.
We have.
Oh, we do.
Yeah,
So, I mean-
landfill is purchasing one, and so we have a,
But there again, you'd wanna talk to Rod about that, because I don't know what they're allowing for trade-in,
Okay,
and I don't know what kind of shape it's in. But if you're just gonna use it once in a while, there it is, if they're not
Okay.
giving us anything for it.
okay.
But, so you
Yep.
guys talk about it.
I'll
As
talk
as
to
long
Rod.
as it's not gonna nickel and dime, you know, if it's something that needs to be.
It's
well,
mechanical, it's
and
mechanical.
like I said, if it doesn't rain, you already mowed it once this year.
Yep,
Just
that's
once.
exactly right. It's good to go.
Nah, you can work it out, whatever you wanna do.
Okay, I can talk to Rod and kind of see what, if he thinks it's worthwhile keeping it in, in Sherman County, or if it needs to be kicked out so somebody else can play with it. I'll talk to Rod.
Okay,
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brett.
Okay, so what I am requesting of the three of you is something I didn't think I'd have to be requesting. The current software that we use in our office that generates our complaints, our warrants, has all of our charging language, statutory language and everything, is NDF. And that's used to be a great program because it was, you bought credit and basically they charge you for every page that you printed off. And with e-filing, you used to have duplicates of everything. With e-filing, that cost has gone down because you only have to have one page. And it was 7 cents a page. And so that was basically, $100 a year or $200 a year or whatever. We received a letter from NDF on Tuesday that said they're shutting their doors in September. So I need a new case management program. The problem is there is nothing out there that's as simple or as cheap as what NDF is. All of the case management stuff now is a full system. And by that I mean it has law enforcement portals where law enforcement can automatically upload the evidence, the videos, their reports, everything. Something like this should save some money in that we don't have to make paper copies of everything for defense counsel. We simply click on what we want, hit submit to defense counsel, and it sends them an email link that they can pull that stuff off. The two widely known companies are Prosecutor by Carpel and Civic Eye. Prosecutor by Carpel has been around longer. Civic Eye is kind of up and coming. It's based out of Nashville, so there's a lot in that part of the country. But there's several counties in Kansas that use Carpel. There's none that use Civic Eye. Both programs would do what we need it to. There is a slight cost difference as far as, well, there's a significant cost difference as far as upfront cost, but a slight cost difference as far as the annual fee that we would have to pay. So obviously, since I didn't know that this was going to, that we were going to be losing our NDF program, I don't have this budgeted. Prosecutor by Carpel is a one-time fee of $13,950. That includes them coming out doing 4 days of training on the program, and all of the backup and cloud storage and all of that with $5,000 a year for our one-time cost, and that or for annual cost. Our annual cost can be paid for out of diversion funds, so that's not something I would have to budget, but it's the basically $14,000 on that one for the upfront cost that I don't have budgeted. Civic Eye is $20,000 one-time fee, but $3,600 a year annual. I will tell you, after having played around with Carpel and then the demo we had yesterday with Civic Eye, Carpel is much more user-friendly, and the fact that several other counties in Kansas use it. As far as a user-friendly perspective, the biggest difference is Carpel has an agreement with OJA, whereas on July 1st, whenever our new statutes take effect, they automatically go in and change our charging language. So when you put the offense date in for that defendant and then generate the complaint, it will use, if it was committed on June 30th, it will use whatever the statute and charging language was for June 30th. If it was July 1st, it will automatically populate the new statute. Civic Eye, we have to go through and manually do all that. So my preference would be Carpel, cheaper upfront cost, a little more on an annual basis, but so my request is some funds for the upfront cost.
You have anything in your office you could sell?
I could try to sell April and Kelly, but they're worth a heck of a lot more to me than $13,000. So,
Bad choice.
I got you.
See if
But I'm
any
kind of
bids
in a-
come in, huh?
yeah, I'm kind of in a time crunch because I need to know that I have something coming in place before September. Both of them are about 3 to 6 months out from a go live date. By the time they incorporate everything from our office that we already have as far as our forms and everything, which we send all that to them, they generate that, they come out and do the training. So if approved, my Band-Aid from September on, we will have enough credit. We've been informed by NDF that if you have existing credit, you can continue to use it until that credit is gone. But once the credit's gone, you can't use it anymore. And then, of course, as of September 1, we don't have any support or anything.
So what's that, buy it another couple of months or what?
It would limp us along until probably January, February, and of course the unknown. Because one idea was, well, let's just pay $5,000 in credit, knowing my luck on September 2nd, the whole NDF system would crash, and you paid $5,000 and they're closed and you can't get your money back.
But they will send you a thank you card.
Probably. So I have a backup to get me until one of these go live, but as far as I've spent the last 3 days since we got that letter trying to find cheaper alternatives to just do our charging language and our forms. There's nothing out there. It's all the full-blown, you can track everything you do in that case. I mean, it's more than what I need, but it's what's there.
Yeah.
It's what my options are.
Make a motion to approve the Carpel contract.
So, just where we gonna get the 13,000?
From the gym.
That's what
We'd have it in there.
he's at the point, he's gotta have something.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded, and we approve the contract. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Well, I'll go tell Kelly in April that. Okay.
I will say Kelly's not in favor of it because the training is going to be mandatory.
Yep.
She informed me yesterday that when she took the job, she was told she would have to do no training, so.
Note to self.
Yeah.
How far is she from retirement?
I tell her every day that you have to give me 10 years advance notice, so at least 10 years from today.
Yeah, there you go.
we don't have
Well, that's the
anything
bigger
else,
problem. I'd have to hire two.
Are we
if it's
good?
her.
I know.
You wanna talk, handbook
You can,
or? That's fine. Okay. Looking over this, you kinda highlighted the,
changes.
okay, this very first one, you have an important note and it's typed over the top of,
What page are you on?
1-1.
yeah, I couldn't read what's going on there.
Yeah, 1, oops, 1, 2,
The note off
3.
to the side you can't see?
Well, it's, on ours, it's,
It's all jarred, gobbled together.
Okay. Let me, you wanna look at it up there?
well, you can,
Yeah,
Let me
it's
pull
fine.
up the handbook that I sent you yesterday.
Yeah, the PDF copy is kind of messed up.
Sorry,
yeah,
I
I
didn't
thought,
know converted.
On their iPads, it automatically will.
Where am I supposed to be going?
Just scroll down.
To 1.1.
And then just. So what you guys are seeing on there was what change was made, and so it's already reflected in here.
Okay.
So that's all. That's all good there. You changed this sincerely, it was president, remember, Mr. Sherman, or didn't really say who it was from, so.
Just put
sincerely
Sherman County.
Yep. Then we go down to. There's a numbering issue on 2.8, 2.9 that needed to be 2.8, religious accommodations.
okay, was there one before that on 2.7 of personal protective equipment? That's where it's highlighted over the top of,
Yeah, there's something here.
There's nothing on 2.7.
Okay.
Religious accommodations policy. Retaliation. Okay, yeah, keep going down. So there was 2.2.8, so
Yeah.
that already reflects the change.
So this is 2.9 now, there was 2.8 and then 2.8, so this is changed to 2.9 now.
religious accommodations is now 2.9.
Right.
It's 2.8, okay.
And then numbering for corporate, the next one, corporate compliance is now 2.10. Next one, drug and alcohol is 2.11. If you scroll down to the bottom of that one, there's the drug chart on section 17, the testing chart.
Yep.
The added fentanyl, and it says more than 0.
Okay.
Because there isn't a testing limit, how we talked about.
Yep.
Conflict of interest, 217. That one reflects your guys' request. The second paragraph is your guys' request. potential or actual conflict of interest occurs when.
Go down, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Which one are you going to?
I was told 33. Under what?
3.8.
3.8 performance reviews policy go up. Fantastic.
3.8, section 2, the last line of pay increases under this section 2 are separate from cost of living increases, which are made in the discretion of the board and are effective for the first payroll period in January. Is that word how you guys would like that?
The increases under this section are separate. Cost of living. Yes, I mean, that
Okay,
is basically saying cost of living raises will be paid in the first pay period of January.
Yes.
And other merit raises are at the discretion of the supervisor.
Yes.
Okay.
4.2, vacation leave. Section B, the chart.
Yeah.
The chart, we took out the 75% accrual at the, by a certain time at the end of the year. And then that change was also reflected in D. We took out the carryover and 75% in there. So basically now if you hit the maximum, it's just gone. There is no 75% as of a certain time.
I had another question. This is not on this, but, okay, if a person takes sick leave, say they call in sick on Monday, and they have to work extra on Friday, they still get the overtime, right?
No, it's on, you get out overtime on hours worked.
So
So
sick
you
leave
have
is,
to have 40 hours worked.
okay,
So a leave does not count towards that hours worked.
Okay.
Same with a holiday.
Right.
So you have to work an additional 8 hours.
Yep.
okay.
8 hours and 1 minute. Let's see, the next one would be. Inclement weather, 4.10.
so we're 410, and here's military leave policy.
I have mine as
Okay, don't
inclement.
look at that one, just look at this one.
Right.
2 410s.
Good.
Worded okay?
Yes.
Okay. The next one is section 5.5, social media. Section 3. So we cleaned up, the sentence in section 3 reads, he added and after that comma, and took out and the computer system policy after the next part, so. cleanup.
Okay.
Um, 510, county vehicle policy. K, section.
Okay, here's Gypsy.
Section 3K. So this is the one that you guys said we had the problems with if it was EMS or if it was to leave the vehicle running while you were on duty, that you couldn't leave it running on the side of the road, basically. So that handles that, because that would be included in their job duty, so that exempts those people from that. Section 4, he took out the part saying that if you were driving a county vehicle, you had to check the fluid levels, including brake, transmission, oil, coolant, every time it gets fueled, so that part's out of there. And then C became B, which you see there. Um, 518. Is deletion of emails. That's a new one that Eric kind of requested.
So this is even junk that we get from, because we get a load of it. All right.
So it's all archived.
Yeah.
But didn't we also define that in the acceptable use?
Yes. So if you go to appendix C, it's the acceptable use of IT assets policy.
Where's the page?
It's right there. It's starting there. Up on page. Yep.
The primary thought, Rod, is that if you leave your office, don't delete your email. It's to remain archived until, I think it's 7 years, and then your account will be deleted. In the meantime, it will be suspended, and it'll just sit there.
Okay.
For the purpose of it being county property,
Yeah.
if somebody would request those
Okay.
documents.
Okay.
And I think that's it.
It's on our iPads here. If we get junk mail, we have to leave it. If we do, it's
That's
okay.
almost-
But I know I probably deleted some junk mail,
Oh, I can guarantee you I have.
because you get so much of it.
I guess can we,
We can modify it.
because that's what you're asking to have reviewed.
Well, I mean, junk mail's a relative term. It's.
So that's the hard thing. Can I have that reviewed for next meeting?
You wanna go to appendix L real quick? And then go down, meals, go down a little bit more, right there. There's the meals maximum reimbursement reflecting the change that you guys wanted, and then the verbiage saying that tips, alcoholic beverages, room service, and delivery fees. So the change there would be adding room service and delivery fees. And the amounts of meals.
Okay, now is there anything in travel that talks talks about using county vehicles when available for staff. I noticed, you know, we get a lot of reimbursements for mileage and stuff, and is it that there wasn't a county vehicle available? And how do we enforce that?
So it used to be that way,
Okay,
and it used to be if the county vehicle was available and you took your own vehicle, you only got one way of mileage.
yeah,
But then it gets into who's gonna request it first, and I'm gonna wait for them to request it, and then I'm gonna take my own personal vehicle and get both ways.
now, was there a difference between staff and elected officials?
No.
It was just across the board that
Yes.
way? Okay. Well, that'd be up to you guys, because I won't be here anyway, so I mean, if it's a problem, you guys.
We can work it out.
So outside of the changes to IT potentially, anything else you guys have?
I did not see anything.
Thought so.
So we'll work in the next week on that and then hopefully have a final draft for approval.
Okay.
Did we approve the change in July to the?
That's it.
Okay.
I'd like to request, if Brett's got time, 10-minute executive session for attorney-client with the three of us and Brett.
Second it.
And
Been
there's-
moved and seconded.
And there's nothing else left on the agenda.
10 minutes, so till 9:20. All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Meeting will come back to order. I entertain a motion to go back into executive session for another 15 minutes.
I'll make the motion to go back in executive session for client attorney personnel or client privilege for 15 minutes.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion passed. Board of Commissioners come back to order, please?
You plug your microphone back in, Steve.
I did. Is there any other business that needs to be brought forward to the commission at this time?
Believe so.
If not, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
The moved and second, we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose sign. Meeting's adjourned.